Welcome back. Sitting here right now with Jeff Massey, Administrator of Washington County, Florida, talking about Washington County storms and emergency situations. Speaking about emergency situations, as we sit here today, Jeff, just found out this morning that yesterday our fire coordinator, Rick Kerr, coordinated sending some of our local firefighters to some of our counties to the west. I know there's not a lot of information there. Tell me what you know about that.
I had learned of the brush fire in the Panhandle, and I called Rick Kerr, our fire coordinator, and I says, Rick, what do you know about this situation? He goes, well, they've shut down part of I-10 west of us, and I believe the fire started in Okaloosa County. And so I said, so we're not in a direct path. He goes, no, sir, I don't believe so at this time.
So you were calling because of potential danger to us?
Oh, sure. You know how windy it was yesterday, and you know that stuff will spread like crazy, and there's a bunch of fuel in the woods left over in our area from Michael that we're super sensitive to that because we know what will happen if it gets there. And so later last night, he called me back and he said, Jeff, he goes, this thing's kind of gotten out of hand. It's gone into Santa Rosa. I believe now it's in South Walton. And they've requested for us, you know, can we send them some help? And I said, absolutely, because after Michael, Santa Rosa County had their strike teams over here to help us. They were the first one, the first ones on the ground helping us clear roads and get to citizens. I said, Rick, absolutely, can you get it put together? And he goes, I believe I can get 3 teams together. And they did, and they're over there still. And I'm proud to do it for them.
We talked about that path of Hurricane Michael and the destruction. You didn't have to go much more than 10 or 15 miles to our west, and you didn't see any damage at all. Right. Everything was east of South Walton. And as you point out, Santa Rosa County in particular, but all of those counties to our west, were here for an extended period of time helping us out.
Oh, they were here for, yes.
Which takes us to the fact that we are a loving, giving community, and never, ever in the 15 years that I've lived here, in the 45 years I've lived between Bay County and Washington County, have I seen a situation where there was a need that went unanswered in some way. Wrapping all that up into a nice little bow, if you will, we seem to have a sitting board of county commissioners that, again, as I pointed out in the first segment, are business people that work together, that work productively together, that have maintained a relationship with you. You're probably one of the longer sitting administrators that the county's had for a while, and I don't know what the answer to that is, but I will say that it seems like between you and that sitting board of commissioners, you are proactive, Rick calling you and saying, hey, we've got an issue to our west, can we help them out? What does that say about our county staff, our administration?
Oh, gosh.
Top down.
Well, I can tell you this. Living in the county but not working for the county. I was just taxpayer here. I've worked around Washington County all my life, but never in the county. So after I did my stint in the private sector, I always wanted to do something and work here in my local community. So it's kind of how I ended up here. But I can tell you something. All those years I lived here, I would listen to people. And I would listen to people and they would say this and say that, you know, and I take it a grain of salt because, again, I wasn't here every day. But I can tell you, I got here and what we focused on was being more productive, being efficient in what we're doing, and making sure the taxpayers get a bang for their buck. That's like changing a culture. Cultures don't get changed overnight. And so, but I can tell you this, the folks we got in this county today work hard, and we're doing a great job. Are we perfect? No. Are we going to make mistakes? Yes. You know, you're never going to eliminate issues. To me, it's all on how you handle the issues when they come to you. And so we're trying to do a better job every day of managing our services and helping the public. I think it's important for them to understand, the public, that there's so much that goes on that folks don't know about, and situations that happen that our people are dealing with. And I'm going to tell you, you know, coming out of Michael, and we're still working on Michael. We're doing FEMA work on our roads, plus keeping up our regular maintenance and trying to, you know, keep things moving forward, and they're doing a tremendous job. We have timelines on that, so we can't, and we're doing it all ourselves. There may come a time that we can't get to it all and have to contract some of it. We don't wish to do that, because I'm going back and we're looking at our roads that we get done with, They're amazing. They're working hard. And I mentioned in the first segment that we're out there chasing funds from Michael, and we submitted projects to the state that's funded through the federal government. Then again, the importance of going to seeing our congressmen and our senators saying, will you help us push this at the state? And they did. And we're not done yet. And so I say all that to say that we have great people in every aspect. Our public works is working hard, but one of the things that just gets to me is when I see what happens. Here we come with this virus, okay? So a lot of the things with Michael have slowed down because the state's not working or the federal government's not working. And so we're focusing on this. But let me say, this thing hit us so fast, nobody was prepared. So no masks, not enough sanitizer, gloves, you know, the different types of PPE. And this is just for businesses and the public. Healthcare has a whole different set of needs, nursing homes and stuff like that. So, you know, we saw that, and I can tell you right now, there's still over 50 people, and there was many more, I believe, when we started, that West Point Home donated us material and elastic. It wasn't just any material. We went to CDC site and said, okay, this is the kind of fabric you have to use for it to be CDC approved. They donated us that kind of fabric. The volunteers and there's a group of ladies, and I don't know them all. We have handed out over 6,000 masks from our annex. Now, I'm not counting the masks that these incredible people gave out on their own, okay? And we're still handing out masks, and we've handed them to businesses, to residents. We've sent them to the state correctional facilities, Sunland. I mean, we didn't care if you were out of county. This affects all of us. We were taking care of Washington County, but if we can help somebody else, we're certainly going to try to do that. And then the folks on 98 Distillery in South Walton, they donated all this high-grade alcohol, which is the base for sanitizer and disinfectants and stuff to kill these germs. And we started making our own sanitizer. And so we've made over 100 gallons of that and bottled it ourselves in-house with our staff in the office. And these people, they call and says, we don't have any. Okay, we mark it down how much, you know, they come pick it up, they got it. And so every time that we have a major event here that is adversely affecting our public, since I've been here, Michael, COVID, in a relatively short period of time from each other, our community has shown the kind of people they are. It's amazing. And so it makes me proud.
It takes that loving, giving community, headed up by people who are business-minded, because again, if no other rule pertains, you can't spend money that you don't have. It's a recipe for success. But another part of that is also the fact that you have the resources, that you have the funding. I want you to stick around for the third segment, because I'd like to talk about the U.S. Census.
Sure.
Every 10 years, the United States does a census.
Very important.
County funding, and much of we get from the state and from the federal government, is based on that census. Would you stick around with me?
I sure will. Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Our guest today is Jeff Massey, Administrator for Washington County, Florida. When we come back, we're going to do just that. We're going to talk about the U.S. Census. If you have not received a census form in the mail yet, all you have to do is go to their website, and we're going to give you that URL. It's very important, and we're going to talk about the importance of the U.S. Census when we come back, and we will be right back.